Welcome to Collectormania's YouTube channel. I am Kylie and I'm doing a deck tech on our Commander Nicol Bolas Archenemy. We're morphing the decks from the package into a EDH format or a Commander format. So first off, definitely check our other videos because we're going to have a lot. We're going to have each of the decks in, so there's going to be 4 decks in total, 3 of the other ones, and then we're also doing out-of-the-box play, and we're going to be doing our morphed EDH. So what we're doing is we're taking the Planeswalkers that are featured against the Archenemy's situation, so Gideon, Nissa, Chandra versus Nicol Bolas, and we're morphing them into a Commander deck. I ended up getting stuck with Nissa, not that I was upset about it, and she is going to be my Commander, even though normally we wouldn't be able to do that. We're morphing it into Commander using that as the staple. So I just wanted to go over the deck tech that I'm doing, or go over the deck that I've built, knowing that we're doing this EDH format. So obviously I have Nissa. She's extremely unique in the fact that she has an X in her mana cost as a Planeswalker. That is really powerful because you can play her at any point in the game and use whatever benefits you at the time. So if you play her later, you can get more counters onto her, that kind of thing. Let's go through the deck to show kind of what I did with it. I'm also running the other Nissa. She's great to get out early, and she does a lot of value. So she gets you some blockers that you may need, or some little things that you can use to sacrifice if somebody's got a lot of sacrifice. And the +1/+1 is really nice for each creature because it's going to help creatures survive. Evolutionary Leap is a good way to get value out of the few creatures I have in the deck. I want to find them and I want to get them out. Exploration is a really good ramp spell to get going early. Fable of Wolf and Owl. This is a great value spell. If I can get it out early and I can just start playing spells, I'm going to overwhelm somebody with it, which is really, really good. Future Sight, that is a spell that I'm using because this deck's going to be largely control, and I'm going to utilize the top deck, hopefully for more counter spells and stuff like that, so I'm definitely going to be utilizing play with the top card of my deck for sure. Leyline of Anticipation, again, I'm going to play a control style. The reason I'm playing control is I'm hoping my 2 allies, Gideon and Chandra, are going to punch Nicol Bolas in the face. So I'm going to hold Nicol Bolas' arms behind his back to make sure that my buddies can punch him in the face. Leyline's great because it's going to surprise people with cards that shouldn't be played in that moment. Rhystic Study is a way to tax Nicol Bolas, so he's getting slower and we're getting faster. Rites of Flourishing is going to help Nicol Bolas, but it's going to help my allies way more. So we're going to draw way more cards than he is, which is very, very good. Chromatic Lantern is, you know, fixing my colors. Gilded Lotus, more ramp. Relic of Progenitus, however, that's in there because Nicol Bolas is probably going to have a lot of graveyard, and I want to prevent him from having that graveyard. So I'm going to be targeting the cards in there to get rid of, well, hopefully I get it out early and I just keep getting rid of his good cards. Rings of Bright Hearth has a lot of synergy with Nissa because I can copy Nissa's Scry ability, which is incredibly good. If I've already set up the top of my deck, I can copy her throw something into play ability. I can also copy the ability that makes lands 5/5 flying, beat sticks until end of turn, and just start overwhelming. At the end of game, I can actually start helping my opponents punch them in the face. So, Sensei's is another top deck manipulation, so I can use Nissa to her full advantage. Simic Signet, ramp. Soul Ring, ramp. Spectral Searchlight, that's actually one of my favorite ramp spells. The reason I like it so much, and it's really unique in this format, is that you can give any player a color. So you choose a player, they get a color of their choice. I can help out maybe some of my allies that are going to have a tough time with ramp. Namely, like the mono red or mono white, both of them have a hard time ramping typically. I can help them out. I want to help out my allies. Staff of Nin gives me some card advantage, which is nice. Rampant Growth, again, more ramp spells there. Rite of Replication can be used offensively, defensively. I can use Nicol Bolas' creatures against him. I can use some of my allies' overpowered creatures to overwhelm the board. Just has a lot of uses. Sky Shroud Claim, again, more ramp. Tooth and Nail, this one's really good. It's obviously a late game card, but there's a lot of creatures in my deck that you'll see that I can overwhelm the board with later. I'm playing a game where I want to control the deck or control the pace of the game early, but then hopefully throw out my big stuff later. Aetherize should hopefully be able to protect everybody for a turn, you know, something that's going to help us out and put him behind. Aether Snatch is going to take some of his really good spells and use them to my advantage. Chord of Calling, again, a way to cheat out some value. Clock Spinning's really great because I can actually add a counter to Nissa if I need to and buy it back, or I can take a counter away from Nicol Bolas if he's getting too scary. I can add it onto other Planeswalkers, so I can really use this in a way that's going to benefit us and hurt him. Commandeer has the Aetherize kind of ability where I get to take their good spells and use it against them, which is awesome. It's better in ways because I can actually cast it for free if I need to, so it's definitely something that will surprise anyone who's not knowing that it's going to be in there. Counterspell, you're going to see there's quite a few counterspell type effects in there. That's just to stop him from doing what he wants. Psychonic Riff is too good in a 3v1 format. Disallow, counterspell. It also counters a triggered ability, which is really helpful against Planeswalkers. Force of Will, counterspell that's a little bit cheaty. Croson Grip's gonna split second stop somebody from killing us, hopefully. Momentous Fall is really good because I do have a few big creatures in here and it's gonna give me that card advantage and life back if I really need it. Mystical Tutor, I've got a lot of spells, instants and sorceries, so I want to fetch them out as soon as I can. Simic Charm is really good for the hexproof, and that's the big reason that it's in there, but it's also the return creature to people's hands is really nice as well. That's Trick Bind. It is in Italian, but it's another split-second spell that's going to stop some triggered abilities. Again, Planeswalkers, that kind of thing. It's really good for stopping stuff like that. Void Slime, another counterspell. It's actually the same as Disallow, but with a little bit of green in there. Worldly Tutor is going to find me any creatures I need in any moment to answer a situation. Acidic Slime, super value card, hits tons of different options. Definitely a good card, especially to ride a replication. Arcanus the Omnipotence, great to get me that card advantage. Birds of Paradise, ramp. Burnished Heart, ramp. You can see I really want to ramp and get past Nicol Bolas if I can. Clever Impersonator can copy any permanent that's a non-land on the battlefield, so it can copy Nicol Bolas, which I'm hoping to do some crazy things with that. Coiling Oracle's ramp and or draw. Cold-Eyed Selkie, Nicol Bolas does have blue, so it's probably going to have an island. I want to island walk in and draw cards. Consecrated Sphinx is going to draw me cards with Nicol Bolas draws. Black has a lot of draw, so hopefully I'm going to get a lot of value out of that. It's also a 4/6 beat stick if I need it. Deadeye Navigator is going to combo really well with things like Acidic Slime or well, the next card that I'm going to show you, so we'll show those. Deep Glow Skate is going to double the amount of counters on a target permanent, so I'm going to use that on Nissa so that I can start overwhelming with things, and then if I keep bouncing the Deadeye, it just gets nasty. Or I can Deadeye my Duplicant and start exiling all of my opponent's creatures on the board, which is really, really helpful. Eternal Witness is going to be that way to get things back from the graveyard. Also a good candidate for that Deadeye Navigator, so you can see it's in there to take advantage of a lot of these. I think that Nicol Bolas is going to be playing a lot of really crazy creatures, and I want them also. So I'm going to play Fairy Artisans. I think it's actually probably one of the greatest blue cards to come out in a long time, so I put it in almost every blue deck. Kozilek Butcher of Truth is my own way to kind of shut out the game if I need to, and if my allies aren't doing a whole lot, maybe I can take over the game with Kozilek. Mole Drifter, great value, great for more bounce and return. Progenitor Mimic, really good value to get multiple triggers on something. Phyrexian Metamorph, great for copying not just creatures, but a lot of other things as well. Soccer Tri-Builder for ramp. Scavenging Ooze for more graveyard hate, because I really think that Nicol Bolas is going to play off that a lot. Something Steve likes to do is play with the graveyards. Psalms, more ramp. Sphinx of Jar Isles is probably a card not a lot of people know a whole lot about. It's a 5/5 flying shroud for 6, which is pretty good. But it allows me to look at the top card of my library whenever I want. It seems inconsequential until you realize that Nissa can throw something onto the battlefield. So if I can have that top deck manipulation at any time, that's going to be really helpful, as well as having just a 5/5 flying beat stick. Tolerant, I've got a lot of instants of sorcery, so I'm going to really get a lot of triggers off Tolerant if I can get it out early, especially. Teferi's a great way to shut down another deck that wants to do a lot of instants, and I can flash it out, which means I don't have to tap out to play it. Really, really good card, gives me flash for a lot of things. Wood Elves, again, more ramp, because you can't have enough. And then in some utility lands, Homeward Path, because there's a lot of cards, Insurrection, stuff like that, that could really end the game for us, unless I have something like that to stop it. Mikokoro's great because it's going to make each player draw a card, which is going to give us a bigger advantage than Nicol Bolas, as well as if I have like a Consecrated Sphinx out. Really good synergies with that. Alchemist Refuge gives me flash, which is really helpful because I have a lot of instants, but if I can give everything flash, I'm just overpowered. And then you have some mana fixing. Temple of Mystery with the Scry is nice with the General. Breeding Pool gives you both colors. Command Tower, both colors. Flooded Grove's nice. Filter lands are really, really helpful because even if you're choked on a color, it can give you that color. Hinterland Harbor, both colors. Misty will go fetch my color that I need. And Yavimaya's both colors. And then I run, the rest is just forests and islands. I have more islands in here than forests because I have that going on. But that's my deck. I'm hoping that I can hold back the arms of Nicol Bolas while other people punch him and have my own responses to it. Anyway, check out the other deck techs because they're going to be on their way as well. And definitely check out the gameplay because it's going to be bonkers.